Hi, Dan Klatt here, your love sensei. I'm the founder of the Honor Institute, Conscious Parenting, Conscious Loving, year-long transformation, and stand within yourpower.com. Let's do, in our deeper coaching program, one of the most important things that we will do, and from there, from that doing, how we will live. I'm talking about the promise to the planet. Are you ready for this? I get chills just appreciating how important this moment is. Both arms, in fact. So, the context from where this arose is back in the 1990s. I was a newspaper reporter and assistant managing editor, and I remember very clearly how the contract with America during that time frame really galvanized the American people. Newt Gingrich, the Speaker of the House then, was the architect of the contract with America, and this was in the context of, it was a Republican, I think, House at least, because he was the Speaker of the House, he was a Republican, and Bill Clinton was the Democratic president, and there was nothing happening between the two parties, which is, let's call it, selfishly, not stupidly, because I recognize they both have their self-serving agendas. And, anyway, Newt Gingrich reached across the aisle to get the president on board so that we could do something in the country, so that they could do something in the country together. And as a result of this, working together and the contract with America specifically, it happened. Both parties worked together and they moved they moved the needle in the country, and important changes that served everyone took place. And then, as is so often the case in lack of consciousness, when there is lack of consciousness, after that time frame, after those politicians were out of office, then we forget history, we forget success, and we go back to our own selfish ways. And then there's been stalemates, and not a lot has been done in politics in the U.S. at least, other than divisiveness and bickering and stalemating and blaming. And anyway, that hasn't helped anyone, especially the people who voted those self-serving people into office. Anyhow, so, that's something for each of us to consider and to do something about. And we can have conversations about that in our mastermind. And the point is, the good that came out of that contract with America is coming back now, because we're borrowing from that idea, and now we're all benefiting from that through our promise to the planet. So, reflect on that. First of all, how something that was a success years ago in perhaps another context or in a slightly different way can come back to do tremendous good now. In other words, reflect on the importance of history and having a foundation of understanding of something that made a difference to someone or some group of people years ago. I mean, okay, so there's this, let's even pause about this because it's kind of important as well. There is this sense that, whatever, I'm just going to say successful people have, and yet I think that's probably accurate, and maybe it's too much of a characterization or a broad stroke painted. Let's use that word anyway, and then we can think about how accurate that characterization is. I have the sense that more successful people, they have a broader understanding and appreciation of history. In other words, they learn from the mistakes that we have made before, or that our fathers and mothers and grandparents and their parents have made. And they also have a sense of their place in history. I would like you to really contemplate that. To what degree do you have a sense of your place in history? Like, as a reference from that, or to that, I led a mastermind in the internet marketing world. This was around 2004, 2005 maybe. And these were like very successful people who were in my mastermind, and one of them was regarded as the father of internet marketing. I guess they called him the grandfather though. And he was regarded as the first person to invent all kinds of innovations that are still used today. And one time he and I think it was when we were hiking, he was giving the keynote speech at a conference in Phoenix, a marketing conference, and he and I kind of then played hooky on, after he gave his speech on Saturday morning, we played hooky and we left and we went to, he and his fiance, I offered to take them around the vortexes hiking in Sedona. And anyway, we were enjoying, I don't know if it was, it was the Airport Mesa vortex. We were up there morning, and we were just sitting there enjoying the beauty of there. And I think I asked him, have you always known that you were going to be great? And he said, well, yeah. And it wasn't from ego. It was just like, I was meaning in terms of that you were going to be a very successful person. And I was acknowledging him as a very successful person. And he just said, yeah, no hesitation at all. In other words, I want you to really think about this and feel into this. You as a very successful person, you know your place. You know what you're here to do, and you do it. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts. There's no self-doubt. There's no lack of confidence. There's certainty replacing all of that. Certainty eliminates doubt, right? So what is your place? In history or in the world, or where do you fit in the big picture, the grand scheme? I want you to be really clear on that. Because, this person from that mastermind has done a lot of important work. He has been I don't know how to say this carefully. He has done good things for humanity. And he has known his place in the big picture. And it's not from ego, and it's just from being certain. So I want you to reflect on all that. First of all, do you have a lack of success or a limit? I think it's called governor in a car. When people put a governor on a car, then it can only go like whatever that limit is, and it can't go any faster than that. Do you have something like that you had put on yourself, on your success, happiness, joy, fulfillment, well-being, peace of mind, prosperity, on your experience of love, on your experience of what it is to be a human being alive right now? That's an important question to ask and to really answer honestly. Would you agree? So, really think about that and feel into that and look at your life, don't just dismiss that. Look at it openly and honestly and reflectively. Do I have a governor on the amount of impact that I'm able to have in the world? Because I don't believe in myself, or I don't think I deserve it, or I don't need it, or any other excuses. Whereas the truth is that people need you standing tall, holding firmly and strongly within your power, and leading them and inspiring them and being the example that they need to show them that it's okay for them to do very important things in the world, just as you are doing yourself, because you have it within you to do those very important things in the world and for the world, right? I mean, this is, yeah, he's right, I do. And to what degree have you allowed that and connected with that and held that unwaveringly, mindfully, consciously, with awareness and presence every moment, where you awaken with that, and that becomes, remember the container that we created as part of our Inspired Success daily ritual? That becomes the container through which you are living your whole life, from one morning to one evening, and from one day to the next day, and that has become your being. I am that person meant to have this impact, and I'm doing these things as I'm having that impact, because that is who you are. And that's what you're here to experience, and embody. And exude as well, the 4 E's. Express, experience, embody, and exude. And exemplify as the example of that for others. The 6 E's, you could say. So reflect on that and become that. If there was any doubt, replace that doubt with certainty and knowing. And then you all of a sudden, it's like that certainty. Okay, I want you to perceive this now if you haven't already noticed that consciously, because I feel like it happened when we were talking about that a few minutes ago, that the certainty, when you went into certainty, that's a strong sense of acceptance about yourself, and I got a sense of that, like going into certainty, moving into certainty, or staying within certainty, that opened like this waterfall or this river of confidence. Like that opened this well of confidence that knows no limits. In other words, that is what gave you all the confidence that you need, all the self-esteem, all the belief in yourself to do whatever it is that your grand vision holds for you. Now, with that level of certainty, with that unlimited well of confidence, there's no question that you are the right person for this vision, no matter how large and grand and beautiful and impactful that vision is. You have every confidence as part of that certainty that you are the person to manifest that. This is within you for the reason, like we talked about, that seed has always been there. And this is allowing that seed to blossom. Like I got a visual of like a time-lapse photography showing that seed having like its first, whatever they call it, leaf popping out, and then that like a stalk or whatever grows, and then other leaves pop out, and then there's the trunk, and then all of a sudden, before your eyes, it starts to grow into this, not a mighty oak tree, but the mighty sequoia or redwood tree. And it just starts from this cone, and then, it's happening before your eyes right now with just your coming from that place of certainty and knowing. I want you to reflect on that experience that you are having right now and share your sense of that in our mastermind, because I believe this is an important gift for you as well for us all to acknowledge and to embody that. And now, after you have fully immersed yourself within that level of certainty and knowing and trusting and allowing and being receptive to all of the inspiration that comes to you as a result of being in that place, wow, now you're surely ready to do our promise to the planet. So that is what we will do after you have solidified that, become entrenched with that, allow that to be permanent for you. So we'll do the promise to the planet in the next video. Thank you very much. I honor you for connecting with your destiny.